So if you had to guess, who do you think would be happier? Somebody marrying for love or somebody entering an arranged marriage? If your answer is the person entering the love marriage, you're correct. That being said, fast forward 10 years. Where do you think the happiness levels are now? Well, according to the study I found, happiness levels had dropped to half of what they were in the love marriages, while they increased by 25% in arranged marriages. So what's going on here, and why does this matter to you, even if you're single? Well, according to the researchers in that study, higher levels of happiness were due to relationships that were built on respect and trust, aka relationships that have partners who are communicating, partners that are working at building the relationship. And let me be clear, I'm not saying arranged marriages are better than love marriages or vice versa. Now, the point here and what the researchers emphasize is that for a relationship to be sustained, to be happy, 10 years down the line, you've got to understand that relationships require work. And that, gentlemen, is my first life hack. Make sure that anyone you're in a serious relationship with, anyone you're living with, anyone you're sharing a bed with, this is somebody that you want to build possibly a life with, and you would want to partner up with them. I mean, think about it. If you're applying to a job, you're applying to get into a school, they're looking at your GPA, they're looking at your resume, they're looking at your past experiences. They're really measuring you up, making sure there's a great fit. If you own a company, you know how important it is to hire the right person, because the wrong person can destroy your company. Yet when it comes to relationships, we're haphazardly just meeting up with people, sleeping with people. Many of you guys have had this happen where bringing the wrong person in has negatively influenced your life. Now, bringing this back to arranged marriages and why the happiness levels went up is that both parties approach this as a partnership, as, hey, we're going to have to work at getting to know each other because we're stuck with each other. We're coming together in a marriage contract. In addition, both families have interviewed the other person. They really wanted to make sure that this is a great fit for our family coming in. So they've taken a lot of precautions. They spent a lot of time up front making sure there was a solid fit. So it's in Act 2 of Scene 2 in Hamlet that we hear one of Shakespeare's most classic lines. For there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Now, if you're familiar with the play, you know that Hamlet here is talking about Denmark. He basically views it as a prison. I was just in Denmark a while back, and I didn't think it was a prison. I think it's a great country. Had a great time over there. But here's the thing, is that we all see the world differently. You can have rain falling on you, and you can think, oh my gosh, this is horrible. It's going to ruin my clothing. Why is this happening to me? Or maybe you're a farmer and you say, oh my gosh, thank goodness we have the rain coming down. My crops need this. Point being, it's the same thing happening, oftentimes in the same area, but it's our interpretation of that action, those things happening, as to whether or not it's heaven, whether or not it's hell. And when you understand this, all of a sudden you start to realize it's the way that you view things and your mindset that often determines your happiness level. The key point here, life happens and it's indifferent to us. However, it's our view of what happens, our interpretation of what happens, that affects our happiness levels, whether or not we determine it to be bad, for it to be good, whether or not it's a miracle, whether or not it's a tragedy. I mean, think about it. You're watching a very close football game. And I mean, it can go either way. One team was heavily favored. The other one was the underdog. And the underdog wins on the last second with a controversial call. Some people saying it's a miracle. Other people saying it's a travesty, bad officiating. Point being is you've got people on both sides seeing the same exact thing with different viewpoints of what is good, what is bad, what should have happened, and what shouldn't have. In Viktor Frankl's classic book, Man's Search for Meaning, the psychiatrist talks about his time in a Nazi concentration camp and how he came to conclude that you always have a choice of how you're going to view things, of how you're going to live your life, of the decisions you're going to make. Literally, you had a guy here that had everything stripped from him, people dying all around him, but he was choosing to approach life in a way that, hey, it still had meaning to him. So the hack here is no matter what happens to you, you always have a choice of how you're going to interpret it and therefore what actions you're going to take next. The next hack to living a better life, reject the word fair. And this is something that slips out of people's mouths like, oh, why isn't life fair? I put in all this work and effort and I'm not getting anything. Totally get that. And when we're saying it though, we're using it in a way, I think John Rawls actually meant it, is that justice is equal to fairness. And that's what we want to see. We want to see that if you put in the work, if you put in the effort, you're able to get justice. You're able to get your just reward. But here's the thing, that only happens in utopias. And if you're familiar with the word utopia, that means nowhere. There is nowhere, yet we strive for it. Yes, I get it. We want to have justice. We want to have fairness. And that is a great thing to strive for. But it's only going to be realized in a utopia, which is nowhere. Point being is it's a great thing to strive for. But it's kind of like that apex point that we will never reach. And to even further turn this on its head, imagine if we did live in a world in which everything was perfectly fair. That would mean that relationships, toxic relationships in which one person is abusing the other could not end, because if it was fair, both people would have to agree that, yes, this is a relationship we want to end. But if one person wants to, keep the other person in there because they want to abuse them, see how it would work? So the next way to hack life, accountability through affiliation. Find a group of people that you can join up with who are going to help hold you accountable to accomplish the goals you want. Find a workout partner. One of the easiest ways and best ways to get back in the gym. Maybe it's you want to level up your business prowess, then form a mastermind. Find a group of people that you can start to meet with. Maybe go out there and look for a company or for a job that can really challenge you, can put you in a situation that you're going to have to stretch, you're going to have to learn more. And there's nothing wrong with paying for that accountability, having a bit of skin in the game. I know I go see my chiropractor quite often because not only does she adjust my back, but it's also the stretches. It's the constant reminder, hey, did you do all the stretches? Are you doing what your muscles need? And it's me having to say yes or no. And that's a constant reminder that, hey, I need to get back into the gym. The next hack to having a better life, learn to say no. Cut off 80%. I'm going back to the Pareto principle. The fact that 20% of your efforts yield you 80% return. So what does that mean? That 80% of the things you're doing in your life, they're only bringing a small return, less than 1%. Focus in on the things that really matter. And what you have to do here is just say no to all that stuff that doesn't, because every time you say yes, you take on a responsibility, you join that group that yes is going to be a waste of your time, but you didn't want to say no to your friend. Well, here's the thing. You've got to, first up, take stock of what you've committed to. There are certain things, if you're a family man, if you've got a job that requires a lot of you, it's going to be very difficult to say no. But even at work, you can look around and say, you know what? I've volunteered to do this. I'm part of this committee. I'm part of this project. I'm going to pull back and I'm going to let my boss know that it's negatively affecting the ability and my, what I can do on these other projects. And all of a sudden you gain some time there. The point being is to cut off things so you can focus in on what's important and to realize that the vast majority of things, well, it's fine. If little bad things happen, let them kind of roll off, but make sure that you've got time for the things that are really important. Now, gents, today's video is brought to you by Vitaman. In case you haven't heard of them, they're making the best damn grooming products on the planet. And as an owner, I'm not biased at all. Seriously though, gents, go over to our website and look at what goes into these products. Everything is made in Australia, following really strict procedures and guidelines coming out of the EU. We use natural and organic ingredients to make amazing grooming products that you can see the difference. Our deodorant keeps you smelling great all day and doesn't use any aluminum. Look at your deodorant, look at the ingredients. You're gonna find aluminum listed. Our volumizing shampoo, perfect if you're over the age of 30, starting to deal with thinning hair. This right here is gonna make your hair look fuller and thicker. Most face scrubs out there are using these microplastic beads, not good for the environment. Our face scrub uses natural bamboo as an exfoliator. Now, gents, I can talk about these products all day long, but how about I put my money where my mouth is? Gents, down in the description of today's video, I've got a special link so that you can grab a sample kit for free. There's a limited quantity and this deal is not going to be around forever, so use it or lose it. Again, click on that link down in the description to get your free sample set. The next life hack, learn to think critically. Back in college, I had a lot of people make fun of me because I was a philosophy major. Now, I also picked up a degree in biology and psychology. I thought, okay, those are going to get me a job. The philosophy I did for myself. I had a lot of questions about religion, about what was going on in the world. And philosophy was that where I go into those classes and you could ask questions. And you wouldn't necessarily get answers, but you would be able to ask better questions coming out of that. And it led down rabbit holes that I didn't expect. And being able to take a class on ethics, take a class on logic, and then to be able to take a step back and try to apply that to everything you see. This is what thinking critically is about. And it's not, you reach a point where you've mastered it. It's a lifelong journey. And I highly recommend, I know you guys probably even have some books you could recommend on how to think critically. But I do find one of the best practices, best exercises is to find a subject that you disagree with people on and then go study the way they're approaching it and understand their points and their viewpoints better than them. This is just an easy way. I'm not talking about winning arguments, but I'm talking about having empathy and having an understanding for why people are viewing the world in the way they're viewing it. The ability for a man to be able to think for himself, to be able to take experience, to be able to take things that he's learned, research, and be able to come up with his own conclusion on what all that means. This is key. And if you're not able to do this, it's going to be tough to be able to do anything of significance in this life. The next life hack is to find purpose in your work. And if you can't, go find another job. Seriously, you're going to spend almost 100,000 hours in your entire life working. That's 1/3 of your life that you're going to be spending doing something. And if you're not doing something that's inspiring you, and there are all types of ways to be inspired. Next to my house, we've got a hospice, assisted living home, and there's a maintenance guy there. And you know what? He loves what he does. I spoke to him the other morning because he realized he's helping people. He's maintaining the machines. This is people's last moments. Their families are coming, and he's making sure that, yes, they never see him, but the machines are running, the lights are on, the temperature is set so that it's comfortable for these people in their last days. Think about it. He's just a maintenance guy, but yet he finds meaning in that. And everyone has the ability to find meaning in their work. But if you can't, if you find that, hey, it's a soul-sucking job, my boss, everything is bad, then hey, we're in a great market. Go find work because you want to find something. I know with my company, I'm always stressing, we're not about clothing. We're not about, putting out videos. What we're about is helping men become the man they know themselves to be. And we do that through our messages, through maintaining a positive tone. Find a company that can help you do that, can help you have meaning in your life, because it's so key when you're spending this much time working. The next hack, take the time to identify what values you want to live by and write them down. Capture them somewhere and make sure that you're looking at these, that you are being refreshed on the direction you're going and the way that you're living your life. Now, for a lot of guys, this is laid out in their religious beliefs, and that's a great place to start, especially if you've already got that foundation. For other people, they're going to have to think through this. They're going to want to say, what is truly important to me? One of the things I loved about being in the United States Marine Corps, they had our values: honor, courage, commitment, laid out for us. And it was something that to this day, I still try to live by those values, those ideals. You could even have it themed for the year. I know I do. I've got certain values like wisdom, passion, strength, curiosity. These are things I know for me in my life right now that I want to be striving for. And by the way, if those resonate with you, let me know in the comments below that you would like a coin, and leave with me your values. What's important to you? What do you want to align with this year? What are you striving for? What values are you going to try to live up to? Seriously, gents, you guys know I love hearing from you. So let me hear from you down below in the comments. And again, we'll go through and I'm going to send out a lot of these coins because I do feel it's important that you carry something with you, that you have a reminder of the man you're trying to become, of the values you're striving to uphold. The next life hack is to study history. Read biographies. Any fool can learn from his own experience, but learning from the experience of others, yes, that is what you're trying to do. I know I stole that quote from somebody, but what was it? Centeno. He said, "A man doesn't know his history is damned to repeat it." And whatever you're trying to achieve, get that nonprofit off the ground, start your business, go and have a successful career. Somebody has written a book about this. Somebody has gone into great detail. Maybe it's not super recent, maybe it's a bit older, but those are even better because oftentimes they focus in on timeless wisdom, information, how to be able to, yes, gain the system so you can move up the corporate ladder, how to be able to get funding. There's tons of knowledge out there, and you want to go out there and pick this stuff up. Yes, you're going to make mistakes. Yes, you are going to have failures. Yes, you're going to fall down, but you're less likely, and you're going to know that, okay, gosh, I remember reading about, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, they fell down in these areas. Okay, I'm in good company. Let me pick myself up if I'm going to get that software company off the ground, if I'm going to dive into cryptocurrencies and build my empire there. And speaking of reading biographies, study human nature. The next hack, and this is one is so key, people have not changed since the beginning. Seriously, our human nature, the things that we just fall to whenever we're panicked, whenever we're scared, whenever we're excited. Human beings are naturally overly optimistic and overly pessimistic. If you know this, you're going to be able to build this into your business. These are things, again, that we see again and again. Robert Greene, one of the best writers on this, his 48 Laws of Power. You may disagree with some of his points, but he pretty much lays out what has happened throughout history. The 50th Law with 50 Cent, an amazing book. Absolutely love the audio versions of it. Point being is when you study history. You're able to see the future. It's the best indicator of what's going to happen in the future because you start to just pick up these patterns of the way human beings react. And so you're able to see, okay, there's lots of chaos right now. Guess what? It's going to continue to be chaotic. The governments are not going to solve your problem. People are going to continue to do things which are stupid and not always in their best interest. When you know this, all of a sudden you can make decisions and you can plan accordingly. The next life hack is to determine what do you want to get out of this life, write it down, journal it, type it out somewhere, save that document, and revisit it often. Because we get so busy with life, we're chasing our own tail, we're running around, and we get off track a lot. This is something that's difficult for people to do because we like to stay busy. It makes us feel like we are doing things when we need to take that step back and we need to say, you know what? Why am I putting in all these hours? Yes, I'm trying to give my family a better, life than what I had, but is that really what I want to do? I don't want my kids to just get money or get inheritance. I want them actually to have skill sets. Have the courage to ask yourself, why am I going to law school? Why am I in medical school? Is it because my parents want me to be a doctor? They want me to be a lawyer? They want me to be comfortable. They want me to be successful. But really, I don't want to be doing this. I want to quit school. I want to go be an artist. I want to go be a writer. Do you need a degree for this? Is this something that, yes, it's your life, and at some point you've got to start living it for you, but you got to make sure that you have thought through this, because otherwise society, your family, people around you who are well-meaning are going to try to push you in a direction that you don't want to go. So this next hack, if you take nothing else from this video, take this one, and that is to be generous with love. The word love, giving love, showing love. Yes, you may embarrass some people and they may think you're a little bit, over it, or, oh my gosh, like, dude, why'd you tell me you love me? Because you do, and you care about that person, and you don't know what could happen tomorrow, tonight. They could be in a car accident. And this is somebody that you genuinely want to thank. You appreciate them as a mentor, as a teacher. Maybe the word love is a little bit too strong. Well, let them know how much they mean to you before it's too late, before they're gone. You want to make sure it is known that you were thankful for the people that supported you, thankful to the people that had your back. So reach out to them, find them. And it feels great going both ways when they receive it and when you give that love. Seriously, guys, it takes 10 seconds. Send a text. Let somebody know today that they inspired you, that you love them, that you care about them. The next life hack, be patient. Stick around and you will be amazed what happens. So a funny thing happened when I started reaching out to a lot of my friends that I served with in the Marine Corps. They're now first sergeants, they're colonels, and I'm just laughing because I'm like, dude, I remember partying with you all night and you would get drunk and in a stupor, and I mean, you got arrested. How in the world did you get promoted to colonel? I don't know how he got that off. But the point being is these guys wanted to make the military a career. These are people that understood, hey, I'm going to have to put my time in service. I'm going to have to stick around. I'm going to have the ups and downs, but I'm going to be able to get what I want and be able to move my way up. Now, I get it. This isn't always sound advice to wait for things to come to you. Yeah, you're going to get what's left over. And if you're not seeing progress, yeah, question that. But I do think many people have the opposite problem. They just expect too much too soon from their efforts, from the work that they're putting in, from expecting promotions, expecting a big salary increase, to be able to pick up a skill set. I would say give a little bit more patience. Put in that extra effort. Continue to show up and you'll be amazed at what happens. Now, this next hack is similar to one we talked about earlier, but that is change your mindset. So you view every obstacle, every problem as actually a good thing, as an opportunity. When you think of obstacles as, hey, everyone's going to run into this obstacle, and the vast majority of people are going to quit. You, however, are going to view this as an opportunity to show what you've got, to improve your strength, to be able to test all the skill sets, everything that you've been acquiring up to this point. There's an ancient saying about that king who put a boulder in front, just right there on the road. And what did most people do? They came up to it. They couldn't go around it. They couldn't go over it. So they just turned around and went back to the village, except for one gentleman who showed up and he used a lever and he moved the boulder right off, and under it was a sack of gold. And what the king was trying to emphasize is, hey, I want to reward people that see a problem and see this as an opportunity to be able to overcome the problem. When you start to view obstacles as your opportunity to show off your problem-solving skills, you become a rare person. You become somebody sought after, somebody that like, oh yeah, we've got a difficulty, go grab this guy. That is somebody that is a linchpin, somebody that is never going to be without a job, somebody that will be able to go in and command a higher salary, someone that's going to be respected, somebody that's going to have a bigger impact. The next life hack, design the game so that you can design the rules to play in your favor. So out of college, I really wanted to own a bar. And straight up, why? Because I felt if I owned the bar, I would be able to meet just tons of beautiful women. Think about it. It's the whole Studio 54 thing where if you control, if you own it, you have high status, you can go in and out, you can control who goes in and out, and you're just the guy that everyone wants to know. I wasn't the guy that everyone wanted to know. I had a lot of insecurity issues, and I just felt, you know what, this is going to be a way for me to hide. Now, I didn't end up doing that, but what I did do later on in life is I started the Menfluential Conference, and really, I wanted to get to know more people in my space. So guess what? I hosted the party. This was something I partnered up with a guy I respected, Alpha M. All of a sudden we started, everyone that was in the space wanted to be at this party, wanted to be up on stage. And I was more than happy to be the guy sitting in the back, just pulling the strings, knowing everything that happened. And to this day, I'm still reaping the benefits. What can you do in your industry, in your life, so that you can actually design a game so that it just rewards you for being you? Now, what if you want to start over? What if you want to hit that reset button? You want to have an amazing year? Guys, check out this video in which I talk about resetting your life this year, how to basically start from scratch and rebuild things. I cover it in this video, guys, right here. It's a good one. Go check it out.